All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Wednesday morning Inner Circle Live session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. Hope everybody is doing well today. As always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper for notes, and let's participate and engage. And for the courtesy of everybody on the call, please ensure that your mic is muted if you're not actively asking a question or making a comment. All right. So we're going to hop into some fundamentals really quickly, and then we're going to dive into the charts. Want to start with any pairs that you guys have your eyes on, right? So you can drop those in the chat now. So when we get to the charts, we can go ahead and go through those, and then we'll take a look at some others. So let's get to it. So switch over to trading economics. And real quick, just drop me a one in the oh, you can hear me okay. Beautiful. Appreciate it, Joy. Let's go over here. All right. So not a ton happening overnight, but Germany consumer climate rises for the sixth month, right? So positive sentiment coming out of Germany. Indicator increase for the sixth consecutive month to negative 29.5 heading into April, the highest since July, and compared to a forecast of 29.2. Income expectations were the main contributor, prompted by a recent drop in energy prices, especially for petrol and heating oil, right? So got some positive news coming out of the UK. UK mortgage approvals rise for the first time in 6 months. Then there's some other things that happen. Alibaba shares boosted. Alibaba, one of the largest suppliers of goods, they made some structural changes. It doesn't talk about it there, but they made some structural changes and they broke their organization up into, I believe, 6 separate organizations, which ultimately is they're saying it'd be better for the organization overall and better for the shareholders. So they're looking to increase their profitability that way. So that gave a boost to Asian stocks overnight. You also saw it impact European shares a bit as well. All right, so that's really it that happened overnight. Over to the calendar real quick. There we go. All right. And for today, right, you see those numbers came out this morning. For today, you just have pending home sales for the United States, FOMC member Barr speaking at 10 o'clock. Crude inventory coming in at crude oil inventories coming in at 10:30. That's really it for the day. Tomorrow morning, you got German preliminary CPI month over month. Then you have final GDP quarter over quarter for the United States and unemployment claims for the United States. So tomorrow will be a little bit of a busier day from a fundamental perspective, but that's all we got there. So any questions from a fundamental perspective or anything that you guys have seen that you want to put on the table? No? All right, cool deal. So let's hop over to the charts. We'll take a quick peek at the dollar to see if we had any changes there. Busy day at work yesterday. Yeah, for sure. I dig it there. Excuse me. So, real quick peek at the dollar, and we're watching this overall crown pattern, right? But zooming in here on this last leg, we're bouncing in this range. So yesterday we were pressing down, coming into the support level, and we got a little bit of a reversal here. So we'll watch to see what transpires on the dollar. But right now we're just caught in this range, right? Just caught in this range. So we'll continue to monitor the dollar overall to see what direction ultimately we break out, be it to the downside to finish out this crown, or if we get a push to the upside. If we get a push to the upside, right, and break back up. All right, so we'll watch that from a distance. Okay, 1 second. Okay, and then UJ. Let's take a look at it. Pull the cloud off. Let's come to the daily. There we go. So, couple things, right? Similar to the DXY, right? Just looking at it from a daily time frame perspective. We got a crown pattern trying to play out. Okay. So that's one thing that catches my eye immediately, right? So now as we zoom in and take a look at these levels, got some cleaning up to do on these daily support levels. So we'll keep that crown pattern in mind. This is our fib on the crown. I'm going to take the pattern off just so we can look at it cleanly real quick. All right. We got some levels to clean up here. So take that one out. That's our resistance level. That's our resistance level there and there. All right. So that's where we sit. Dang it. That's where we sit from a daily perspective, right? So from a crown perspective, right? Pull down. We got a 382 off the retracement. Now we're pressing back down. Okay. This is that right tip. All right. And we created a swing low here. So we got a support level there. Okay. So this is that range that price is bouncing in, similar to the DXY, right? So that's where we sit from an overall perspective. Got a crown pattern potentially happening there. Might start getting a pullback. So now I just want to look at it from a different perspective, just using the fibs coming off the high. It kind of puts us in the same alignment, right? So we got a 786 retracement right here, right? And we're pressing down, right? And that'll take us down to breaking that daily support level and getting to that 127 extension level. All right. So that kind of gives us a little bit of confirmation of potential continuation to the downside. All right. And we see if we zoom out, those fibs to the upside got taken out with that push, right? Which makes sense for the crown. So that's the look there. Now let's zoom in and drop down to the 4. And on the 4, I believe we have a fibs taken out to the upside. Nope, not yet. So on the 4, here we go. 8-6 retracement, pressing down, right? So again, puts us in that same alignment, some confirmation for that crown pattern. Price continues to the downside, getting to 125, 521 potentially, right? So daily D extension was just below that daily support level, right? And the 4-hour D extension is below that. So confirmation of potential move down, right? So that's what we're looking at there. Now let's look at it. I want to look at just this last impulsive leg to the downside. All right. That kind of gives us more confirmation of a potential move down as long as we stay below this daily level. Okay. So if we get this pushback to the upside in favor of the dollar throughout the day, today, tomorrow, this week, right, then that would invalidate that. And we'll look at that next level. But right now, right, we're stuck in this range, right? But overall, we're looking short, looking for short opportunities. So that's what we have there. Now let's go down to the 1. The 1, we're going to look at this move to the downside as well. Boom. Deep retracement on the 1. More confirmation of potential move down as long as we stay below this daily level here, right? So on all 3 levels, as long as we stay below this daily level, we got some confirmation of potential move to the downside. Okay. Overall, short term, we might it looks like we're trying to get a little bit of a pullback here off of this nice impulsive move to the upside. All right. Which last night we looked at on a decent number of those yen crosses. So getting a pullback now. So two ways we can look at this. We go down to the 15 and look at this move to the upside, or we can run a sub fib here. That got taken out to the downside there. So we'll come here. And that one is starting to create that swing high. All right, so we'll drop down to the 15 and take a look at it. But again, this daily level is going to be key for us as long as we stay inside the A boundary, right? Looking for price to turn over. Potentially trying to turn over here. Okay, so come down to the 15. We'll take these out. Down on the 15. And we'll look at this last impulsive move to the upside. Boom. We got 80-20 on the 15. All right, so here's the setup here. Drop our cloud on, bang. And you can potentially wait on the reversal, and this could be the initiation into that right shoulder, that right tip coming down to the downside. All right, could be that initiation. So I'll bias on this on the short, and right, if you're using your trend lines, you got a trend line break. All right, so whichever confirmation you use on this, right, use it. But boom, trend line to the upside through the highest point, bang. Right, so you got your trend line break, you're getting a pullback now. So this is a nice setup here on the 15. Appreciate the eye, Joy. All right, 80-20 on the 15. Overall, we're looking at potential crown pattern trying to turn over and make its way to the downside. So that's where we are. 80-20 scenario there. Okay. See what the 5 looks like. I'm going to copy this fib. Copy that. Take that one out. Let's drop down to the 5. Got a cloud break and a pullback to retest the cloud. Bullish cloud ahead. Lagging span not quite through price yet, but got some confirmation there of a move down. So there you have it. UJ short. Questions? $137.30. Okay, you got a nice entry there. So you could be potentially looking for a opportunity to add to the trade then. Yep. I dig that. 137.30. So somewhere around here. That's nice work, Joy. So we're out here balling. Beautiful work there. There's Joy's entry on the buy, right? Looking long. So Joy's looking for a low price, potentially add to the trade and continue to the upside in favor of the dollar. I dig it. Right. We'll just monitor that dollar closely, right, as it's kind of back and forth. So I like it though. It's great work.
I'm waiting. I'm riding to my entry intention was to ride this to exhaustion to see the reversal back down to the downside.
Oh, okay. So you what should take profit on
this? Just before the the extension.
Up here.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. But too, right? Looking at from our overall bias, right? Still inside that A boundary on that 1 hour, right? Still below that daily resistance level. So that fits. That makes sense.
And I got my stop and profit.
I love it. Hey, we winning. We winning. I love it. Great work. Carolyn.
Okay, I see the break in the trend line, and then I see the pullback. Where I get confused is, do we have to wait for this pullback to actually touch the back of that trend line before getting in the sell?
You won't always get that. You won't always get price to come all the way back to retest that trend line. Sometimes you will, but not always. Right. So that's going to be up to you and your trading rules, and how you enter your trades, but you won't always get that retest. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you'll get a pullback. So what I do is, like in this scenario, we got a cloud break, right? Which I look for these cloud breaks, retest of the cloud, and then continuation short. But in using that trend line, and using that trend line break, what you can do is start running your sub fibs off the high. And now you're looking for price to pull back into your sweet spot. 618 retracement or deeper. All right. So now you're looking at this price pushing back into your sweet spot, and then you can place your stop above your high, right? Or above the high of the original move, and looking short like that. Right. But you won't always get a exact retest of that trend line. It won't happen that way all the time. So it all depends on how that trend line is broken, what's the angle of that break, and so the retest of the trend line won't always be there, right? So I would suggest using the fibs to measure your move, and now you also have placement for your stop loss and a zone for your entry, right? Yeah. So trend line break, pullback, yes. You won't always get a retest of the trend line, though. Okay, hope that makes sense. Any other questions? That's a good question. No other questions? All right, cool deal. Give me 1 second here. All right, cool deal. All right, so that's the UJ. The other one we had come in was the pound CAD. Well, let me do this real quick. So we know we're there on the 5. This is our fib off the 15 minutes. So we'll put in our TP1, TP2. Clean this up a little bit. I'm just going to drop these TP levels in just so we can monitor this as it goes. All right. So that's that. Whoops. There and there. Okay. So that's also a nice risk to reward scenario there too, if you're looking for this B2C move, right? Place your stop above the high. You're looking at 27 pips. TP1, you're looking at 64. So you got almost a 3-to-1 there. On your TP2, you got your 3-to-1. All right. So that's a nice scenario there for a short opportunity. Okay. So that's your risk. Boom. And boom. Okay. There we are. Now we'll watch it. We'll watch it there. Okay. Let's see. Good morning, those that just joined us. Get your access. All right. So 80-20 on this is the 15-minute fib down to the 5. Recent beneath on UJ. Got a cloud break, and we're pulling back to retest the cloud now. Okay. So looking for pull down, and then we'll see what happens on a higher time frame. We do have a potential crown pattern as long as we stay inside this daily resistance level at 130. We're looking short on the UJ. All right. So that's it there. Let's go to the pound CAD. See what we have shaken there. That'd be interesting. Pound CAD. Let's do this. There we go. All right, pound CAD. All right, daily time frame. Well, let's go back to the weekly time frame. Weekly time frame. Not able to break above this weekly resistance level. Couldn't do it here. Couldn't do it here. So potential double top scenario here, right? We haven't gotten a 382. We'll see if we get there. But in the short term, right, we're not able to break above that to get to the D extension. Not yet. So let's make our way down to the daily time frame. You see that double top a little bit more clearly now. And we do have a confirmed swing high on the daily time frame, right? Middle, 1, 2 to the right, 1, 2 to the left. So that's a confirmation of that resistance level. So we got a confirmed double top here, right? Confirmed double top, right? So now what happens? We also have, this is a previous daily resistance level here that we're coming back down to retest. I left this level in intentionally because I want to see price as confirmation of this move down break below this level. Okay. I want to see it push down and then a retest of this level like that. Right. If I get this action, that's confirmation, and we'll look for price to continue moving down. We got another daily support level here. Okay. So long term, that's what I'm looking at. Yes, we got a 382. We'll see what happens if we're able to get price to make this move back down to the downside, though. Right. Twice we weren't able to break that weekly resistance level. Also a confirmation of a daily resistance as well. Okay. So that's the daily. Come down to the 4. On the 4, we got 80-20 scenario. All right. And this is that daily swing high that was formed. Confirmation of the weekly. See price turned over and it's trying to make its way down. Right. And so we're making those lower highs. Do this one. We're making those lower highs, right? Lower highs and lower lows. We're moving down. Okay. So it's just a matter of, do we continue? Are we able to break through this previous resistance level that served as support up until now? Right. But pressing down, 80-20 scenario here on the 4 hour. Okay. 80-20 scenario, TP1 there. Okay. I'll talk to you about my entry on this one in a second. Come down here to the 1. And you also have, you also have an 80-20 scenario. Okay. Shallow retracement, 118-127 zone. Price is turning over. Okay. If you use your trend lines, all right. Oops. If you use your trend lines, they look like this. Boom. Boom. My mouse is sensitive this morning. There we go. And now we're coming up here like so. All right. Goal of the trend line to get as close to the highest point in this scenario as possible without cutting off any wicks or bodies on the way. All right. And that's what we got there. Boom. And we also see we had this consolidation here. So our trend line comes to the outermost point of that consolidation. All right. And here we got our trend line. Like so. So we got it sideways push, right? Came back, retested that trend line there. And then we pushed down, right? So technically that was our push down. We still stayed within that consolidation a little bit. So we'd also then shift it out like this if you're using your trend line, right? Because it stayed in that in that range. Okay. All consolidation here. All in that same range. So this push down, let's zoom in on this. Using your trend line, this was your trend line break. A bearish candle breaking that trend line. Okay. That was your trend line break right there. And now we're moving down, right? Getting a pullback now, but trend line break, and we're moving. Okay. So 80-20 scenario, multiple time frames. The red arrow is my trade entry. This is a trade that I took here in Smart Trader with my broker that's attached. So we're pressing down, right? Pressing down. So my bias on this one is short. Okay. We're not able to break above that, turned over, pressing down. Now I want to see if we're able to get this break of that daily support level. So come down to the 15, right? Come down to the 15. And this is what we had, right? So what I did, right? Got confirmation on the higher time frames, 80-20 looking short. So I came down to the 15 and I was looking at originally, right? Price making these lower highs and lower lows here. Okay. And saw this AB boundary. I was looking for this retracement. I missed it. Price came back again. I missed it a second time, but price started making its way to the downside. Okay. So then you drop your cloud on. And I'm talking through my entry on this trade now, right? Drop your cloud on. We broke through the cloud, pressed back above. Again, a 618 retracement here. Didn't get to that 786 level. Price turned over and pressing down. It's coming to break the cloud here. So I took my entry right here, right? And a little bit of a drawdown. Then price broke the cloud again, right? Came back to retest it. And then it's on the move to the downside. Okay, so that's my entry. Confirmation of the 80-20 on the higher time frames. Cloud break here, pullback. Now we're looking short. All right, now as we're moving down, right, we hit the D extension, swing low formed, getting a retracement now, right, retesting the cloud also. Okay, so now we're looking for price to continue moving to the downside. All right. So confirmation on the higher time frames. On the lower time frames, we got the pullback that I missed, but confirmation of the entry on the cloud break. Boom, we're moving down. Okay. So that's where we are. That's all the way through my entry on this one. And I'm monitoring this one off of the higher time frames now. Initially off of the 1, but overall off the 4. Looking for price to get to at least TP1 here, right? But we got to break that level. So we'll see. That's my entry there. So look at it from a risk to reward perspective. My stop is at the high, right? So I got a 56 pip stop loss, right? For the potential of 270 pips to the downside, right? So the risk to reward is intact there. I'll take a 50 pip stop loss for that potential to the downside, right? And then if we keep moving down, that's a whole nother conversation. Come back to the weekly time frame. If we start getting those lower highs and lower lows and we get back to this weekly support level, right? Now we're really moving 700 pips. Okay. So this could be the start of a move to the downside. We'll see. We'll see what transpires. We know the pound does move a lot of times in conjunction with the stock market, right? And right now we have somewhat of a positive sentiment in the stock market. So we'll watch this to see, okay? But from a risk to reward perspective, I'll take scenarios like this all day long. I'll take it all day long, okay? Risk there. Reward here. I'll take it every day of the week. And I'll let the market do what it does. All right. So that's the pound CAD looking short. Brandy, what are your thoughts on this pair? You got something similar? You can have something different? What you feeling?
Yeah. I got something similar for that one. It's just I was looking at your 4-hour versus mine, and I think hold on. Was that my 4-hour? I couldn't get I'm sorry, the 1 hour. I couldn't get my 1 hour fib to line up to yours.
Yeah, I ran them.
Was it always okay? Okay, because I couldn't get my fib to line up with yours.
Yeah, so
because it shows that it touched the three on mine, it touched the 382 already. So I'm not in a money. Started at 1.6254.
6254. So you ran it off of here.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I follow you there. Where I ran mine was I started at this low. And the reason I started at this low down here, right, is we'll walk it back, right? So coming back here, had the fibs run into the upside, right? And then we had this consolidation happen here. And so I initially I tracked the fibs all the way through, right? I know that low got taken out there. So I just came back to this high, ran them down. Now that A got taken out. So we run them from the low, right? So then I started here and just mapping the fibs out from the low moving up. And that one got taken out, but we still pressed to the upside. So I come to the next low point. That one got taken out. So we'll go to the next low point. And then they expand from there. And so that's how I got to this position, with that fib running off of the low here around 60856.
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So then that puts us in that position there. But looking at yours, right? So your positioning is just the smaller waves, right? Yours was around here. Right. So here you're looking at the smaller waves. It's still a B2C move, right? You don't have your 80-20 scenario, but it's a B2C move, right? So still looking at if we break this daily level, right, we'll be continuing short, right? And it'll just put you in a deep retracement on that smaller wave, which then that A could potentially get taken out if price continues to break those levels, right? So similar positioning. As far as the B2C move goes, it's just higher in that fib sequence as opposed to, lower in that fib sequence as opposed to being an 80-20, right? So it's just a smaller wave. So
yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Good work. You're welcome. That's good work though. Good work. Because the goal is to get the direction, right? And you have the direction, right? So it's beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions here on this pound cat? No? Okay, cool deal. All right. Let's see what we got here. I want to check back on this CAD Swiss. We got to pull back. Let's see what's happening here. So CAD Swiss overall, right? I told you guys last night, right? I'm looking long. Okay. I want to see price break this level though. I left this level in because it took us a while to break it. Came back, retested. Now we're back at it again. I want to see this level broken. Okay. But I am long here. Okay. So coming down to long because we're in this 80-20 scenario, right? So coming through the time frames, 4 hour, we got an 80-20 scenario as well. Okay. And we're pushing here. So we're getting a little bit of a pullback right now at that weekly level again, right? At that weekly level again, it's pressing down. Not a strong rejection, but a rejection nonetheless. So I want to see if we get price to turn over and break that. If we get a break above and then a retest, if you're not in this, that retest, if that holds, that could be an opportunity for an entry if you play breaks and retest, right? That could be an opportunity there. Level of resistance, retest it, push long, okay? So now we come down to the 1. On the 1, we also had an 80-20 scenario here. This is off of this high, okay? Price was moving, stuck in this consolidation range, and then we broke down to the downside, right? Then we came back into another consolidated range. So here we had an 80-20 scenario. We didn't get the break off the B boundary, pushed into the 118-127 zone, broke the cloud, and now we're pushing north. All right. So what you can do here also is clean that up a bit. I'm going to take this down fib out, and we can start to track these waves to the upside in the direction of our bias. Bang. And we see, right at that level, we got a B boundary. Price pressed down 382. So now question is this. Okay. Question is, do we come back into our sweet spot, 618 or deeper, for potential entry opportunity long, C to D move, right? Or do we just get to this 382 and then do we break that weekly level and start making those higher highs and higher lows again, right? So that's what I'm looking at here on this pullback. If we get price to press down in here, for me, because I'm trading small in this, right, this could be an opportunity for me to add to my trade, right? My entry was here, okay? And we're pushing long. If price comes back into the sweet spot, that's an opportunity for me to add to my trade. Boom. And now we're looking for price to turn over, stay inside that AB boundary, and push to the matching D extension. Okay. So we'll see what happens in this retracement here, right? We may get that deeper push. We may not. We'll watch to see. If we don't, cool. We get a break, retest, continue long. And then we'll allow the fib sequence to reset, and we'll do it all over again. Okay. So that's where you're on this cash Swiss. It's moving. Got a little bit of retracement. Now we'll watch that and see what happens. Okay. Questions on the CAD Swiss? No. All right. Cool deal. Let's take a look at. I want to take a look at some of these Aussies because we looked at this pound Aussie last night. It's in an interesting scenario. And we're looking at a potential retest of this level that we broke through. These Aussies got a little bit of weakness happening right now. Not sure what the driver of it is, but push through this level and we're still pushing long. Okay. Didn't get to the 382 and we may not get there. The extension here at 188. Okay. Coming down to our 4, we're in an 80-20 scenario here. Right. So I'm still watching it closely for potential retracement. This weekly level is going to be key. Okay. Going to be key if we're able. If price breaks back through that level, then we could head lower. I don't know that it'll happen though. Right. So I'm watching this closely for potential retracement, at least back to that level. We were looking at it last night, and then we got this push to the upside here. But back to that level is 200 pips. Okay. So we'll see what happens. We got a 4-hour resistance level here that we're testing right now in this 118, 127 zone. Okay. So we'll watch it closely. Coming down to our 1. Also 80-20 scenario. We're pushing to the D extension though, right? D extension is right here. We're just shy of it. So we could get this last push up to get to that D extension. Okay, we got a bullish cloud ahead. We broke back above. So that's telling me we're pushing long, at least in the short term. Okay. So this 80-20 scenario likely not to get on the 1, right? But it still keeps us in the 80-20 scenario on the 4, right? So we'll watch this to see what happens. I do believe we're going to tap this D extension at least, get a fresh AB boundary, and then we could look for a B to C move, something like this. This fib is hypothetical, right? We get to that D extension, new AB boundary forms, right? If we get back to this weekly support level, you're looking at a 78686 retracement off the 1 hour fib, if something like that happens, right? So this is what I'm watching from a lower time frame perspective. We come down to the 15 and a couple scenarios here, right? Here on the 15, we got a 382 and we're pressing long. D extension is here, all right? Come back to this fib in a second. Here, 185, 344, which puts us in alignment with that 1 hour D extension as well, right? Puts us in alignment with that. So we could be pushing to the D extension on the 15 and on the 1, right? So that's something to keep in mind there. The other thing is, right, and Ben and I talk about the some of the work we're doing on the backside, right, and some of the technology we're working on. And this is a trade opportunity that popped up on the software that we're working in, right? So this is the AB boundary, 118 127 zone, which is also in alignment with that D extension on the 1 hour and the 15 minute D extension, right? So we could be looking for a scenario like this to occur. Okay. And then look at a retracement opportunity there. Okay. So let's watch this one on these lower time frames, right? And we'll also be able to keep the cloud in mind as price is moving with it. And see once we get to that 1 hour D extension, what I'll do is I'll drop this in here. 1 hour D extension is there. Boom. And we'll bring this down to the 15 as well. Right. So there we are. We're just short of it actually, right? By maybe a pip or so. Okay. And we still could likely also get to that 15-minute D extension as well. So let's watch that. Let's watch that and see what happens here. But we could be in for an 80-20 scenario here on the 15. If we push into the zone, I'll post this into the Discord as an 80-20 play, and then we'll watch it and look for the retracement to the downside. Okay, but so that's where we are on the pound Aussie. Like I said, the Aussies got some weakness this morning, and this one took off to the upside, right? Took out that previous high. So now we're looking at this potential scenario here. Okay, questions on the pound Aussie? No? Okay. Cool deal. Cool. Let's take a look at sweet. Let's take a look at the Euro Aussie. See what we got. So here, this fib didn't pop in, okay, but we got an 8-6 retracement. The extension was hit here. Boom. Didn't get to the 382 here, and we're pressing to the upside on the daily, right? No 382, so now we're looking at this 118, 127 zone as potential. This daily level, I don't know where this daily level came from. We'll take that out for now. All right, this was a monthly resistance level here. Okay, so we were hovering here. We had a resistance level. We're trying to push through that level now. Price pushing to the upside. So I'm looking at this next level here at 164.425. See if we get price to push into the zone like that. Right, and then we'll see what happens. Still, we're bullish on the euros, right? So this one could come back and just retest this monthly level that we're breaking through now. if we're able to close above, right? And then continue pushing long, right? So we'll watch that and see what transpires, but potential 80-20 developing on the daily time frame for the Euro Aussie. Coming down to the 4, again, I'll take that level out. Here we are on the 4, similar alignment, right? Didn't get to that 382 level, just shy of it, and we're pressing to the upside, okay? So we'll watch this next level now, again, see what happens. If we're able to stay below that and get a pullback, beautiful, as price gets exhausted and extended. So we'll see. We'll see. But price is pressing long here. Pressing long. So looking for that to continue to the upside. Coming down to the 1. You also got an 80-20 scenario here, right? Price has just been hovering in this 118, 127 zone. That fib is a little off. I'll redraw this one. Should be like this. All right. So we're in that 118, 127 zone there. Monthly level, pressing long. The D extension here is in alignment with that 118, 127 zone on the 4-hour and on the daily. Okay. So let's watch this. Again, we're breaking above this consolidation zone, or trying to anyway, that we've been ranging in, right? And technically, we did get to the 382 here on the 1 with this wick, right? So not an 80-20 scenario here on the 1. We got to that 382 level, matching the extension is there. So we could continue pressing to the upside, right? Which, again, makes sense with our bullish bias on the euro. Okay. So a couple things you can do. Trend lines like so. Like so. Right. And then trend line to the outermost point of the consolidation zone. Boom. Price pressing to the upside. Okay. So this is our highest point at the moment, broke above those. So this is where we sit, right? From a trend line perspective. There you go. No breaks of the trend line, right? Just got a bunch of consolidation pressing sideways. The other thing you can do, right? If you don't want to use the trend lines, you can use the cloud and look for that cloud break. Boom. All right. And you see price is just moving through the cloud here. Broke down, broke above, broke down, broke above again, right? So we're just pressing sideways. Bullish cloud ahead, pressing up. Okay, so I'm looking here. So we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. I'm looking for this 118, 127 zone on the 4. All right, so we'll be patient here and watch and see how this transpires. Could see something like that. And then even if, right, if this does occur, that range is 215, 230 pips, right? Top to bottom. So that would even be a nice scenario for a B2C move if we get it. Right? So let's watch and be patient and see if that pushes to the upside there. So that's the Euro Aussie. Questions here? Oh, all right, cool deal.
No.
Cool deal. All right. Take a look at the Aussie yen. This was the one scenario where the Aussie is pressing to the upside. All right. Pressing to the upside off of a low. Created that daily support. Now we're pressing long. Okay. So we'll watch this and see what happens. Come down to the 4. I'll run these fibs to the downside here. Boom. All right. So overall, still trying to press short, matching the extension off of the 8.6 retracement here at 85782. we'll see what happens, see if this turns over and presses back to the downside in favor of the yen, right? We'll watch that closer to see, but a nice V bottom here and push off that daily support. Coming down to our 1. I'll run these fibs off the high. Let's look at this one. Yeah, there we go. Right. Lots of random movement, but pressing down nonetheless. 618 retracement on the 1. So more confirmation of downward pressure, right? So we could see this one move to the downside as well. Okay. Could see this one turn over and press down. So if we run a sub fib, let's take those out. Run a sub fib off this low. Boom, B boundary. So let's watch to see. We're just short of this 382 here. The low 87779. Yep. 762 is at 382. So we're just shy of the 382. So on this one, let's watch to see if we get something, if we get an 80-20 scenario to develop here. All right. We're pressing up here. Could just be a retracement and then continuation, but see if we get price to push into this 118 and 127 zone. Right. And then give us an opportunity to get short. Okay. Let's watch that and see what happens there. Okay. So that is the Aussie yen. Aussie dollar. We're watching this one to see if we're able to get to the 382 on the 4. It's trying to make its way, but right, it's that Aussie weakness, right? Prices turned over and started pressing to the downside. Okay. So we'll watch to see, but trying to move to the upside, still creating those higher lows. Okay. Taking its time, it's trying to get there though. So we'll see what happens as time moves on. We could just slowly bounce back and forth here and test this trend line and do something like that all the way through this little wedge here and then be forced to make a decision there. So we'll watch this closely and see what happens, right? It's slowly taking its time, slowly doing its thing. Yeah. So trying to make it to 382. We'll see what happens as time moves on, but it's just bouncing back and forth right now. Okay. Aussie CAD. It's playing out, right? It's head and shoulders pattern. Playing out. It's pressing to the downside, breaking below this previous daily support level, right? Strong bearish move here. Okay. Pressing down. So that neckline is here at this weekly support level, 90456. Some people might already be short off that right shoulder, which would be beautiful, right? So we'll look to see that shoulder to get broken and see if price continues down. Okay. Take this fib out. And this is our fib on the head and shoulders pattern. Boom. 382 came just shy of it. Potentially what we could see is price push down into this 118 and 127 zone here. Okay. So we'll watch that. We'll see something like that. Potentially, or retest that neckline from there and then a continuation short. Okay. So we'll watch that closely there. So that's the head and shoulders there. Come to the 4. And these are just the fibs running off the high on the 4, right? We got a 50% retracement, pressing down, right? Confirmation of that shoulder moving to the downside. So we'll continue to watch to see. Okay, pressing to the downside. Come down to the 1. Same deal. Okay. Across the board, these Aussies are showing some weakness here, right? Showing some weakness. So we'll watch this B boundary here on the 1. See if we get that break, retest, and continuation short. Okay. So that's playing out as we wanted it to. Okay, head and shoulders on the Aussie CAD. It's Aussie New Zealand. So this one is interesting because daily, we're hovering in this 118, 127 zone, not able to break below this daily support level, right? So watching it closely to see what happens. So as we move through on the 4, right, this is that range. We got a 50% retracement, but we're not able to break that level, just pressing sideways here, okay? So momentum starting to slow down. Come here to the 1. Again, that range press sideways. So hovering in the 118, 127 zone on the daily time frame, and you see the consolidation here. So now we're looking to see what happens, right? We come down to 15. Take that out. That was something that played out for us. But we're back into this range. So we're kind of at the bottom of this range. Let's see if we press back to the top of the range, right? So not a lot doing here. Definitely easier pairs to trade. But just watching this as it moves through. Okay. Just watching it as it moves through. Not doing anything on it. On this one, we're getting some Aussie strength against that New Zealand. Similar trade partners. We got positive news coming out of China. So that leads to this kind of back and forth movement here. Right. So not a lot doing on the Aussie New Zealand. Aussie Swiss. Trying to make up its mind as well. Right. Caught in a bit of a range here. 618 retracement, matching the extension is there. Created a swing low, trying to figure it out. Right. Had a bullish push. Now we're pressing back down today. Coming to the 4. Let's see. Coming to the 4, run the fibs off the high here. Boom. Got taken out in the consolidation. So we'll run them off this last high. Bang. Those also got taken out, right? So this is that bounce back and forth. Okay. So now we'll just track them from here. That one got taken out. So we'll come to the high. Boom. And this is where we sit. All right. So a bunch of sideways movement here. Another one, easier pairs to trade. We're got the push down, pull back. So just bouncing here. Not a lot happening. Okay. So we'll let this one be. We did have an 80-20 scenario here on the 1. Shallow retracement at 118 and 127 played out beautifully. This is that push to the upside now off the deep retracement. So we could start to head north, but we'll continue to monitor to see. Easier pairs to trade than this one as well. Okay. So those are the Aussies. I don't think I missed any. Any questions on anything that we covered this morning? Carolyn, best pairs are the ones that make money. There isn't one. We mark them up all the same. We look at them all the same. We don't have a bias on anything. It's all about what pairs meet your rules. All right. What charts are in position that meet your rules for you to take an entry opportunity on? There isn't a best pair to trade. They all move in ABCD waves. So yeah, take a look at it, Joy. They all move in ABCD waves. They all have patterns, right? We look at them all the same. So there isn't one pair that's better than the other. It's all about your rules and what pairs meet those rules. All right, let's see here. Boom. Whew, Joy. So look,
I should have got out on that last leg.
yeah.
But I said, well, no, maybe this the pullback. And I was like, man, I should have got out.
Well, look, right? So you had A, right? Obviously, we see we're in the range, right? Came to the bottom of the range, strong bullish push out of the low. So this could be the pullback here, right? Pullback for continuation to the top of the range. Because right? These bullish moves, we like to take back 50, 60% of them, which we got, right? So it could be turning over now. So when we get down to lower time frames, we'll see. Okay, so we could be looking at this ABCD move. Right? So we'll look at that as we move down. But that's the range on the daily. Coming down to the 4, take this cloud off. Couple things, right? These fibs that ran off the low down here, right? AB boundary, got a deep retracement. Deep retracement here, 8-6 level. Matching D extension is there. So again, push out of that 8-6 level, retracement. So we want to see, right? Do we get price to turn over here? So it's a good look, right? We'll see if price turns over here. Okay. So let's go down to the 1 and look at these lower, smaller waves. This is off that push, right? Off that bullish push that we saw. Pullback still in that 618 zone. So not a bad scenario technically, right? Got a 618 retracement here. Now it's just, how this one moves, right? Takes its time, moves slow, bounces back and forth, but ultimately it gets to where it's going. So especially in these scenarios, placing that stop outside the A would be key, right? And then just allowing it to do what it's going to do. If it gets to the matching D extension here, it's also matching the extension on the 4 hour, right? which are all signals for a potential move higher. Okay. Now the other thing is dropping in some confirmation potentially on your 15, which it doesn't give you much. So in this scenario, maybe you use your trend line as a rigid zone here, right? So I'd zoom in on this last leg. Look at it from here. All sideways movement, right? So I'd place that trend line like that. And then what you can also do is wait on all of your confirmations here with the cloud, right? Meaning you want a bullish twist, price above the cloud, and your lagging span also above the cloud, right? Those would be 3 confirmation points that you could use with the cloud to ensure that you're getting that move to the upside. The other thing is a break above that level, right? So if you get all of these, which in this scenario I'd probably use, right? Break of the trend line, bullish cloud, price above the cloud, lagging span above the cloud, and a break above, because this is the top of your range here, right? On the lower time frames. So we also want to break out. Boom. Okay. So it's all erratic, but at the same time, if we look at it from this perspective and adding in our confirmations, it kind of simplifies things for us. We need all of these in order to take an entry on this. So a break above 88,063, right? Which would give us trend line break out of the consolidation, right? Also be above the cloud, and likely that lagging span would also be above the cloud if we get a bullish move like that, right? So that's what I'd be waiting for on this one. It's all over the place. Taking its time doing its thing. But from a 4 hour, 1 hour, we know we got a deep retracement level. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you don't have hair either. Be like me. um, um, yeah, it's messy. But if we simplify it, that's what we need. Break out of the consolidation, trend line break, retest of the top of that zone. And then we can look for that entry long. That's what I would say. That's what I would say if I was trading this one, and I'm not. So, yeah. So that's where we are on the euro pound. That's where we are, but bullish on the euro overall. So that kind of feeds into a potential move to the upside. So that's where we sit. That's where we sit. All right. Let's see what we got here. Carolyn, it took me a while. I've been trading since 2014. So it took me a while, but it's your journey, right? So it's about you really honing in on the training, the rules that we teach, and then understanding and working on yourself, right? Looking at in a demo account, right? Looking at the different time frames, taking the trades on the different time frames, documenting how you feel at each stage of the process, right? From doing your markups to preparing for an entry to entering the trade going in a drawdown, you losing a trade going in a drawdown, trade moving in your favor, trade hitting your take profit level, documenting your emotions through that process, right? Because you have to understand yourself and your emotions and how you feel through that for you to then determine the type of trader that you want to be that best fits your personality, right? But that also has an edge. And then adding in the rules that we teach on that, right? But it's key for you to be practicing through that, right? You have to be practicing so that you can understand, practicing and journaling, right? Have a set of rules, right? We teach basic level, right? Sweet spots, 618 or deeper, 118 to 127 zone off of a shallow retracement, right? When price gets into those zones, use the trend lines. Keep it simple. Use the trend line. Run the trend line to the downside or to the upside, as close to the lowest point or highest point as possible. When you get a trend line break, take the trade. How do you feel? Right? Document it. Okay. Do it on the 4 hour, 1 hour, 15-minute. Right? Those things. Right? Have your take profit levels 382, 61.8 on the B2C move. Right? Or matching the extension off of a C to D move. How do you feel? Document it, right? And then looking at that process, now you can say, okay, I'm most comfortable taking B2C moves just to the 382. Now I'm going to take 100 trades when price gets into that 118 and 127 zone off of a shallow retracement. And I'm going to document that process, right? You got to go through that process. There's people tell you all the time that you can shortcut this thing, and you can't. You can't. You really got to put in the time to go through the steps. You got to put in the time to go through the steps. You got to do it consistently. You got to do it consistently, right? If the assembly line didn't have consistent processes, you wouldn't have cars that are consistently stable, right? Same thing with developing skills, developing habits, all of that. It's about being consistent to change, to remap your brain on how you think and how you see things and how you understand yourself so that you can look at it from a different perspective, right? And then you can start to really develop some habits through that, but it's going to be forced at first. You got to force yourself to go through these steps. It won't be comfortable. It won't be easy. Change isn't easy. Our minds are designed to be efficient. Our brains are designed to be efficient, right? which means habit. So when it creates a habit, it literally creates a groove, right? And we got to work to remap that and change those grooves. And as we do that, we change our habits, we change our thinking, we change our perspective. So now we can take steps toward in the direction that we desire. But it's about following the process, right? Not looking at other people to compare the journey, but looking at yours and looking at the process, right? And as you move through the process, it's about the person you become during that process, right? All this comes back to the same principles that we teach, man. It really does. Okay. It's about going through the process. Okay. Anybody else listening to this, that's the key. It's going through the process. The end goal, the results will be the results. And they'll work out how they're supposed to. But it's about the person you become through the process to then create the results that you desire. We got to be willing to go through that. Right? Once you really focus on the process, it does get fun, right? And shift the perspective from being perfect to growing. Shift the perspective from, oh, I don't have, to I'm working toward. Shift the perspective from why me to why not me. Right? Shift the perspective from I don't have to this is an opportunity for me to learn something new so that I can move forward. That's what it's about on this journey, man. And I can't promise you much when it comes to these charts. I can't, because the market's going to do what the market's going to do. But what I can promise you is if you put in the work on yourself, you'll see change. You'll see growth. And that's what these charts give you the opportunity to do. That's what it gives you an opportunity to do. Yeah. Why not me? Why not me? All right. So that's the time, good people. Continue pressing in on the process. Continue pressing in on the process. Right. And there'll be times where you're good, you're going, you're moving. Right. We talked about the gap. Right. And at each stage of this journey, there's going to be another gap that we have to face. There's going to be another learning curve that we have to face. And that's the beautiful thing about growth is it's an infinite game. How do we continue to stay in the game? Life is just like the Fibonacci sequence. You got waves. And those pullbacks, those are the opportunities to learn so that you can reach that matching D extension, man. So have an awesome Wednesday, good people. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session. All right. We won't have a session tonight, but we'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have an awesome day. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
Thank you.
You're welcome.